Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You cordially welcome to this sound recording where I will be instructing you in depth about. What's up, everybody? You are all welcome to this podcast. I am Daniel Galvis, and today I'll be talking about music. So, join me. Music is sound, but at the same time, it's much more than that. The incredible thing about music is that it is abstract and subjective. It can take the form and connotation that we want to give it. It can be sadness, it can be love, it can be confusion. Really, music is whatever. But the beautiful thing about music is that there's no way to express yourself wrong, just different. Okay, after this little introduction and before the development of the topic, I want to send a special greeting to my English teacher, Mauricio Herrera. Teacher, you've been a great motivation to do this podcast. Oh, wait a minute. You've been the only motivation to do it. Anyway, teacher, I hope you enjoyed, and please give me a nice grade. I've invested a large part of my Easter time in making this podcast. Having said that, let's go on. Okay, what we are going to do in this podcast is to analyze the role of music in society, not only now, but also in the past. What music meant to people 4,000 years ago, what they expressed through their music. And I also wanna approach music from a more personal level. I wanna tell you my experience with music. And I got a little surprise for you. So, pay attention. Without any more preambles, let's get to the point. We all have listened to how music started. People were discovering sounds, hitting concave surfaces, blowing bones, pulsating strings. And little by little, they began to discover more sounds and to manipulate the materials so that they produced a certain type of sound. Thus, the history of music is related to the discovery of what surrounds us and our creativity to transform it into something more expressive. But what was the purpose of music in the beginning? What did it represent? Well, in terms of events and situations, music was present in hunting, with imitations of animals, in war or confrontations, funeral rituals, and of course, at parties. And believe it or not, there were certain types of rhythms for the different jobs and trades. In a more personal and spiritual way, music was used as protection against evil spirits, as well as to ward off death and disease. During the period of the Ancient Age, that is, at the end of the 4th millennium before Christ, important cultures at a musical level appeared, such as those of Greece and Rome. It was here where music began to play an important role in education, culture, and society, though it retained its mythical and divine features. In Greece, lyric poetry went hand in hand with some music, and there the most used instruments were the double flute, the lyre, the zither. The Greeks already knew the power of music and laid the foundation of music therapy, using music to change the mood and even the health of the listener. And if we talk about music throughout history, we must talk about the Middle Ages. In this extensive period, which goes from 476 to approximately the year, maybe 1450, music made great advances, but it also suffered great limitations. To summarize, the music was only found in 3 places: in the church, in the court, which was where the nobility was, and in the bars, where it was performed by the minstrels, who were like troubadours or minstrels. As for the instruments, in the church, the only instrument allowed was the organ, and the minstrels popularized light instruments such as the lute. In this era, many people used music to connect with the divine and to express their faith. Others simply enjoyed the more sophisticated and complex art, and still others found fun and joy in music. Next to this era is the modern age, which spans roughly from 1492 to 1789. Throughout all these years, there were several important events, such as the discovery of America, which implied new rhythms, new cultures. In short, it was very important. Also, the power of kings increased. A new religious current apart from the Catholic Church appears, the Protestantism, which will bring many musical advances. In the modern age, the most important stage in terms of music was the Baroque, where among other things, opera was born. The music stopped being so emotional and started to become more intellectual. Here, the composers began to look for each one his own style. Personally, I think that this is where music began to be approached in a more personal way, and where new styles, new instruments, and new cultures began to be distinguished. And finally, we find the contemporary age. Music in the contemporary age is divided into two, modern and postmodern. Modernism began with Claude Debussy, who began to use these masses in his compositions. The 20th century, due to its technological advances, was an explosion of diverse aesthetics. Many musical avant-gardes began to emerge, and each one sought to break the traditional rules of music in its own way. Genres like blues, ragtime, and jazz began to evolve, and the public liked it more and more. Rock began to emerge with Elvis Presley and the Beatles. The latter marked the transition to postmodernism, where an explosion of musical genres such as pop, electronic music, disco, hip-hop, among others, would occur. And so, in constant evolution, we got to where we are now. We can see that at this time, the thought that emotions don't matter in music, but the stories should be told, was accepted by the people. People stopped seeing music as something so sublime and sacred and started looking for ways to make it different. Okay, we have come a long way, but perhaps we have reached the most crucial part. What about the music now? What does music represent for the people of the 21st century? I told you I had a surprise for you, and that surprise will give us insight into how people feel about music today. So without further ado, hello Karen, welcome to this podcast. I'm so glad to have you here.
Hello, Danny. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, this is my friend Karen. She is not from the University of Quindío, but she also studies modern languages. I personally appreciate her very much, and I wanted to invite her. I felt that the podcast needed it. Karen, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to introduce yourself and greet the audience. That's right for you?
Okay, let's do it. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Ramírez. I live in Uribe Valle, and I am a student of modern languages. I met Daniel a year ago, and we became friends thanks to a friend who didn't have internet. We exchanged numbers to practice our English, and we ended up fighting in English and being cordial in Spanish. I don't recommend speak English with him. Anyway, I am very happy to be part of this podcast from my sweet friend Daniel.
She's cute. I'll leave her number below in the description.
You're funny. Don't do that.
Okay, Karen, I'm going to ask you a few questions. There aren't many. Do you think we start?
Yes, of course we do.
Okay, this is the first. What is your type of music?
I love how free we can be in music. That's why I'm not able to choose a single style to show as a favorite. It really depends a lot on my mood, but lately I've been very interested in mashups of classical music combined with contemporary music.
What role does music play in your day-to-day?
I need the music for every day to clean my house when I'm doing chores because I feel that I'm more inspired. Music plays a very important role in my life.
Okay, Karen, do you think that music has been important for your personal development?
Okay, the truth is, it has been part of my personal growth. Music has been my safe place in many moments. I have cried with the music, I have laughed, I have played, and I have loved. One of the most beautiful things that being alive in place is being able to feel and interpret music.
This is a good one. What do you think about music with highly explicit messages?
I highly respect personal opinion, but I think we must be careful with what we transmit. I mean, music has the power to externalize what we feel and also generates all kinds of emotions depending on what we want to convey. And this type of music is a very strong influence on our generation, and the consequences are becoming more and more noticeable.
Can you sing something for us, please?
No way. I mean, to sing, just pay me. It's okay, I'm not going to sing, but I am a good friend, so if at any moment you feel like you can't take it anymore, I want to dedicate my favorite song to you. The singer is Reddy Clemens. The called is Draw Everything, and it was my lifesaver at my worst moment.
Okay, it's a fair treat. Karen, I wanna thank you for accepting my invitation. Thanks for your good disposition and your answers. I really agree with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It has been a real pleasure for me. And goodbye.
I think we have reached the end of this podcast, and all that remains is to thank you for listening to me. I hope you have learned a little, have been interested in the subject. Please excuse my mistakes. I really tried hard, and I hope you liked it. Daniel Galvis says goodbye, blessings, and see you next time.